Hi everyone, my name is Sybil Grey, or Alex. This is my twin, Nico, and their artist name is Beloved Mementos. Um, so,
Um,
so we're here today. We would like to talk about a recent experience that we had, both as art vendors at a recent convention, and a paranormal experience that we also had, our paranormal investigation. The convention that we attended was in Salt Lake City, Utah. It was called Paracon. Our good friends Aaron Goodwin and Jay from Ghost Adventures did invite us to join them, just to have a vending table at this convention. But it was located at this place called the Great Saltair. Um, so yeah, we would just like to talk about kind of our experience there, both as vendors and our experiences with the paranormal. And if Nico, you would want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit more about that, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Nico. My artist name is, well, I have two artist names. I have Beloved Mementos, where I focus on jewelry, and I have Orbis, which is more music oriented and art oriented. Um, I did want to provide a little bit of context about the Great Saltair. The Great Saltair is located in Salt Lake, or a little bit of southern Salt Lake, um, Utah. It's It was originally built by a German architect, I believe by the name, and correct me if I'm wrong, by Robert Canning. Um, where from there on, and since 1893, it has burnt down three times, um, and was the third reiteration was built in 1981, where then it's since served as uh, a venue for musicians all over the world and is sort of now known as a paranormal hub. So that's where we attended. It was my second vending event I've ever been to, um, and my first paranormal investigation I've ever attended. But I was there with Sybil Grey,
Mm-hmm.
and it was also the very first Paracon. So we got to go ahead and do that together. And
Yeah, we got to
yes, that's a
experience
little bit of
everybody's
context.
first time with this event, hosting the event. On a side note, I would like to say thank you to all the staff and all the
Yes,
people hosting the
thank
event.
you.
You guys did a wonderful job. Everyone was so friendly, so nice.
Yeah, it's so friendly and
Despite the heat and little little
yeah,
bumps, and it was still a wonderful
that
time.
was
It
the
just
first Paracon. It was still really, really fun, and everyone was so warm and welcoming and so friendly, and it was just a really awesome time. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that was honestly the best part, was meeting everybody and the new friendships.
yeah,
And yeah, I
yeah,
just wanted to say thank you before we kind of get into more details.
yeah.
So this was actually our first time at this location. As a background, we didn't really know anything about it going into it. I personally didn't know
Hmm.
anything, other than that it was a music venue for some,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
kinds of performers, big time bands. And so that was a little fun side quest there. We got to see the stage, the green room, kind of walk on the stage and feel out what it
Hmm.
would be like. Our friend Jay and his band Colors in Mind also did do an awesome performance,
Yeah,
so that was
it
pretty
was
cool.
super cool.
Yeah, it was a pretty unique, cool experience, and
Hmm.
it was a cool building as well. Kind of going in there and
Yes.
getting to explore it and see it for the first time, was very cool.
Hmm. Yeah, and it was supposed to be originally like Utah's Coney Island, but it's so cool to see how it's kind of evolved throughout the years, even after the fires. But just as a music venue in itself, in and of itself, is just it's really awesome to see. And if you ever get a chance to, I highly recommend going to see it and visit it because it's just such a cool location.
Definitely, definitely. It was very very unique, very cool.
Hmm.
So yeah, we spent the weekend, 3 days, attending as art vendors, selling our personal art and creations, um, and then on the last day, we also got to take part in a ghost investigation with our friends. Um, so it was my second time ever going into a paranormal investigation. The first time was actually in Nevada at a place called Pioneer Saloon, and it was with the group as well. That was my first ever time, experience with any kind of ghost hunting or ghost investigation. But this was my second time, and it was actually Nico's first time ever going on a ghost
Yeah.
investigation. Um,
And
we kind of went into
that,
this with a very level, level head, grounded energy. We,
and no predisposed notions of what
yeah,
any sort of paranormal experiences are supposed to be like. Again, that was my first investigation. I've never had any sort of what I would call paranormal experiences. And while I, I could say I walked in there quite a skeptic, and just more grounded and not really anticipating or expecting any sort of events or anything. More just there to do the vending and just to connect with people and just to see the location and see what it's all about. So
definitely.
I kind of walked into that with that sort of frame of mind.
You'd say you walked into it with an
We both
open
did.
mind. Um,
Yeah.
I can also add to that. I wouldn't consider myself a skeptic, but I haven't really had any major experiences to say that I am very into the paranormal, even though I've had certain experiences that I can't really explain, I guess. But
Hmm.
like you
Hmm.
said, no predisposed notions of what would or wouldn't happen, if anything.
Hmm.
So it
Hmm.
was kind of like an open book for both of us.
Yeah.
But getting into that, I would like to talk about, other than our wonderful time vending
Yeah.
and meeting everybody and getting to
Which is so
interact
much
with
fun.
everybody and making new friends, honestly.
Yeah.
I wanted to record this with you because we wanted to talk about some of the experiences that we did have before and during
Yeah.
the investigation. So if you'd like to
Yes.
start off
So
with that, go ahead.
yeah, so it was the event was a 3-day vending event, and then at the end of the 2 days there were two paranormal investigations. But we were on our second day of the investigation, and we're just venting, having a good time, and connecting with everyone. And there was a little bit of a break, so I'll just kind of share what I guess I would call my first paranormal experience. We were on break, and Sybil, my niece, and myself, we all go upstairs to take a bathroom break. And Sybil, you want to kind of talk about uh, what you were experiencing there, and then I can kind of bounce off of that.
So this was kind of our first time looking around the building, exploring it, just seeing what was there. Um, so we go up these really cool stairs. The stairways kind of stand out there, which we later learned that they were
Yeah,
built there from a place called the Hotel Utah, which I'm assuming was also a haunted location, but I don't want to make that assumption because I don't know for
yeah,
certain.
yeah.
But anyways, we go up this really cool stairwell, and on the second floor, above the stairwell, there's a bar, and then it goes around
All the way
all
around.
the way
Yeah,
around. The balcony goes all the way around, and across the way from the bar, there's bathrooms, another stairway, and a men's and women's bathroom, followed by kind of like a
these
walkway,
hidden rooms.
a
Yeah.
walkway behind it, which we later found
Hmm.
out led to a small back room with a long sofa and two separate individual tiny single bathrooms. Kind of strange back there, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. It
Um,
almost looked like living quarters back there.
Living quarters. That's
Like there
exactly what it looked like. Yes.
Yeah, there's like a little balcony and then living quarters. You just go down the little hallway and then the room, and It's its own separate room. So
It felt like a separate area, and
yeah.
the bathrooms maybe were an addition for as a venue. Anyways,
Yes.
we walked over there because you needed to use the bathroom, and
Hmm.
I can say that we both kind of felt a difference between the second floor, um, in comparison to the first floor, the bottom floor.
Yes, I would say the second floor had a sort of heaviness to it. It felt very heavy, and what you were describing as well, like we both experienced. Um, I would say we both were experiencing a sort of heaviness in our chest and
Mm-hmm.
in our temples.
Yeah, we kind of looked at each
Because
other and we said it feels like there's like it feels almost constricted, like there's a little heaviness on
hmm
our the center of our chest and a little bit of pressure on our temples. And we did notice
hmm
it wasn't like we were seeking this out. Of course, it just
no,
it kind of just had that
it's something that we
difference.
noticed.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
just subtle, um, difference from the areas. But so, continuing on with the story, Nico decided to use the bathroom, and I was with my daughter, Nico's niece, waiting outside. And I do remember she said to me, "Oh, should we scare Aunt Nico when she comes out of the bathroom?" And I looked at her, kind of chuckled, and I said, "No, we shouldn't scare Aunt Nico. Let's not do that because that's not very nice in this kind of setting. But how about we go check the other side of the balcony by the bar where we just were, while they use the bathroom?"
Yes, and so while I used the bathroom, I went ahead and went to go wash my hands. And when I was washing my hands, suddenly the light switches off. And I mean, we did discover that the lights were automatic. But following that, the lights turned off, and I hear a little girl laughing, who I assumed was my niece, and I hear running and footsteps down the hallway behind me. So I walk out of the bathroom. I didn't know that the lights turned off. Um, but ever since then, the lights hadn't turned on at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I go behind me and I walk down the hallway and I hear more laughter and giggling. And I go down to the room down where that little separate room is, and I just hear more giggling and laughing. And so at that point, I am thinking that my niece and Sybil are pranking me. So I call out, "Alex, is that you?" And I get a response in a male voice. I hear a disembodied voice say, "Nope."
Nope.
And at that point, yeah, just a nope, like
Which must
something
have
called out in
been
response, and
unsettling to hear. Even if
it
it
was very
wasn't
unsettling.
a disembodied voice, even if you had
Yeah,
found there was
nobody
a
was.
person there, it would still be
Yeah,
unsettling.
it would have made more. It would have been still unsettling, but it would have at least made more sense. So at that point, I'm a little spooked, and I turn around and I go back to the hallway, and I go. I'm looking for Alex and my niece, and they're nowhere around me. So I'm like, okay, that's a little strange. And then I look across the balcony, and lo and behold, there's uh, Alex and my niece. So they were all the way across the balcony. They were nowhere near me. And at that point, I started to get a little shaken, and I was like, I have to go approach them and tell them what happened. So
Which I can confirm. We were on the other side of the balcony, and I do remember Nico came up and said, "Were you guys trying to play a prank on me?" And I said, "What do you mean? We were over here the entire time. We thought about playing a prank on you, but then we decided to come over
mm-hmm.
here and check out the other side of the bar." And I could
Mm-hmm.
see that you were a little bit shaken by that because of me
Yeah.
unknowingly what you had just experienced on the other side of the balcony. I wanted to
Yes.
ask, did you look to see if there was anybody there? Because obviously it's a busy location. Everybody's,
Yes.
there's a convention going on. Did you
Yes.
look to see if there was actually a person or staff in that area when that happened?
Yes, I did. So I peeked through the room and I thought it was either Sybil and my niece, or it could possibly be one of the employees or the staff walking around, or the staff who responded. I looked in the room in the bathroom and nobody was there. Um, I turned around and I went to the balcony. There is it's quite an expansive area, so I looked around me and I saw no one. Um,
We did
only
confirm
then.
later on that the
Mhm.
bathrooms lights, like you said, we asked staff,
They
they
were
were automatic,
they were
but
automatic.
when that happened, they did not come back on for the next day.
Yes,
So
we spoke to the staff, and ever since that point, she had mentioned that the lights had not turned on ever since that point where they turned off, and that they were actually having some troubles with the lights
yeah,
turning back on. So that was a little strange.
definitely a little bit paranormal there. Um,
Yeah, I would
so
say from that point on, that would I could definitely say that that was probably my first what I would consider a paranormal experience. So that was a little
I
strange.
would say so. Definitely strange.
Yeah, definitely just strange.
So, adding on to paranormal experiences, unexpected paranormal experiences, that was during the day, during the convention, there was nothing abnormal going on except for that experience, which was very unexpected for you. Um,
Yes.
we did have, I would like to talk about another experience that we had. This was prior to the ghost investigation. It was also another experience that was unexpected during the day.
It was during the beginning of the investigation, at the
Right
end
before,
of the
yeah,
uh on the third day.
the third day. It was
Uh
towards the end of, I believe, when the vendors were beginning to pack up. Um,
yeah.
and there was one last panel with Aaron and Jay before the actual investigation of the final night was to
Hmm.
begin. So, um, if it's okay, I would like to talk
Yeah.
about kind of what I experienced, and then if you would want to add on to that.
Yeah.
So,
At that point we were together and it
yeah,
was in the green room.
no.
We just
It was after we packed up, both at the end of our vending, the final day.
mhm.
There was a green room by the stage, yeah. But then there's also a back room. I believe if you're on the stage, it's on the right side, and there's a mirror room. I think they called it.
Mhm.
You go into
Mhm.
the back room, um, close by the stage. There's an opening. Then there's a room with chairs, kind of going around, and then there's a mirror on the wall to the right. And then if you enter a little bit right, there's another room where they did hang up another mirror. It kind of looked like an open staff room. There was a sink there,
Yeah.
and it led back to a separate quarter with one room that was all dark black couches, black
Mhm.
walls, and then another bathroom seating area in the back before you go
Mhm.
behind the stage. So I'm just kind of describing the area. The
Mhm.
area that we went into was not the first room with the mirror, but the aligning
The
room,
staff room.
the staff area. And
Mhm.
I wanted to take Nico back there because I actually found it to be kind of cool and relaxing. I
It was
wanted,
nice and cool in
yeah,
there.
we wanted to kind of escape the
The heat.
humidity and the heat of the Saltair. But so we go back there, and I say to Nico, "Is it okay if I kind of just touch up my makeup a little bit in this mirror, and we kind of cool down in this room?" And Nico's like, "Yeah." And
And this was right before the investigation, so we were just
yeah,
kind of going in there to ground our energy, and we wanted to go ahead and say like just say a couple of words just to kind of ground our energies and put us in the right mindset before well, my first investigation and Alex's second investigation,
we did. We
and to
wanted
touch up our makeup.
to yeah, and to do that as well. Just a little add on, but we wanted to kind of go into it with a certain respect and understanding and grounding. Um, not just for whatever may be there energetically, but for ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we kind of took a moment. We said some things together to ground our energy and touch up our makeup. And as this was actually happening, um, there was no one else in the room, by the way. It was just us.
It was just
Everyone
us.
else was watching the
Everyone
panel.
was attending the panel. Yeah.
So we were in there and we hear, I believe, was a disembodied male voice whisper,
Mm-hmm.
Saltair.
Mm-hmm.
Saltair. In the room.
Yeah.
Gives me chills, goosebumps a little bit right now.
Yeah.
At the moment, we were both very calm, and
Mm-hmm.
I turned to Nico and I said, did you hear what I just heard? Someone whisper Saltair." And Nico says,
And I
"Yes,
confirmed yes. Yes, I did.
yes." And as
I
we
was also
both,
very calm at that point.
we were calm, yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't scary or anything. Just
No.
unexpected, a little bit
And just
confusing.
as,
And
yeah,
as
a
we
little, it
confirm
just,
that with each other, we hear it again.
mhm.
Saltair. In the same room, in the same tone.
So at that point, we were calling that disembodied voice the Saltair Whisperer.
The Saltair Whisperer, the man in the mirror room. I
Yes.
can't assume whether it's a man or, but it sounded in a
It
male
sounded like a male voice.
voice.
And
Yes.
mind you, I've never had any sort of experience with disembodied voices. I don't know if you've had any experience with disembodied voices, but it was as clear as day.
It,
Uh, the way I describe it, it's just something that you could hear very clearly, and yet nobody else was around. So
yes, it was like
I,
when you
we
hear
both put it
someone
together.
speaking on the TV or something. It's very
Hmm.
clear. It's just obviously in the same room, the same vicinity. It was very clear. It was very
Hmm.
obviously spoken. We both confirmed it with each other, which is kind of unique because we were both there to
Hmm.
confirm it and
Hmm.
validate that. And
Hmm.
it did it twice.
They did it twice, as almost as if to confirm what we were hearing,
Yeah.
even as we had confirmed it amongst each other.
And in response to the second time, I said, "Yes, we are at the Saltair." And then
Hmm.
nothing else. It was quiet,
And then
but
nothing else
we
happened
did look
after
at
that.
each other and we're like, "Wow, we that was real."
That just happened. Yeah.
I can say personally, I've only experienced something like that one other time in my life many years ago, and it was. It might sound a bit cliche, but it was at a cemetery while it was raining on a vacation. I did hear a disembodied voice late at night in a cemetery, and I assumed maybe it was a worker, but there was nobody around. But other than that, I've never
And just
experienced that. I've never had anything like that happen so clearly.
and just the same with me. I've never experienced anything like that other than what the second day of the vending with the little girl laughing and the male voice. That was my first introduction to what people would describe as disembodied voices. And then the second time was with you. So
I,
I'm glad we experienced that together.
me too. I'm a little surprised because it was so clear and casual.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
surprised me
and
about it.
intelligent too. It was like a response. So that was really interesting as well.
It was very interesting and kind of hard to believe, but like I
Yeah,
said, I'm not a skeptic, but
I'm still processing it a little bit.
do have an open mind. But it was definitely different,
Surprising.
surprising.
It was very surprising.
So we went and told our friends kind of what just happened, and whether or not they
Mhm.
believed it, it doesn't really matter because we did have that experience together, and I think
Together.
that's pretty
Yeah.
cool that we can have that validation with each other. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, that was even before the investigation began.
Investigation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, that
so
was pretty cool.
after that, the panel kind of went on. We went back out. We finished packing everything up, um, packed things in the car, and got ready to stay for the kind of night investigation, lights out investigation of the Saltair. Um,
Yep.
And everybody seemed excited. You know, you could kind of feel the energy. Everyone was gathering around. After about 30 minutes or so, while Aaron and Jay and the staff kind of introduced what to expect, what was going to happen, what they could and couldn't
They
do.
split off into two big groups.
Yes, and this was at about, I believe, 10 p.m. Or was it 9?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it was 9 p.m.
It was 9. Yeah, 9 p.m.
So the
The
investigation,
investigation went on from 9 to about 12:30.
12:30. Yes.
Yeah,
And yeah, everyone seemed excited and ready to kind of experience something paranormal, hopefully.
paranormal.
Yeah. So, if you want to get into the actual investigation and talk about what we may have experienced, I would actually like to start with the downstairs, even though we experienced that later on, but continuing
Yeah,
on
and I
with
would
hearing
also
things, maybe that could be a good start.
yeah, and also I would like to mention that we were with Danielle from Vegas Afterlife, who we coincided with, and I believe Ray. Um, they do their own paranormal investigations and host events and ghost hunts in Vegas. So they're really cool, and check them out because it's
Definitely.
just like one of a kind thing that you don't see in Vegas, and we need more of. And they're just awesome. So
Super
we kind of
friendly,
coincided with.
super nice. I will add, maybe this is a little plug, but she will be doing more events soon locally.
Mhm.
So if you actually want to look her up and her business and buy some tickets, definitely go check that out. Yeah, we were with her for a little bit of the night. She had some of her own equipment that she tried out while we kind of investigated, and then we did happen to just split off with just you and me to kind of look around and see what we could find.
It's fine. Yep.
So I will add, going into places I didn't know the history of the building. I didn't want to hear any. I didn't want to hear the stories of what may or may not have been there. I just
Hmm.
went into it like a blank page and just kind
Hmm.
of just wanted to feel it out and see what I felt physically or what may just appear or manifest if it wanted to. I really wasn't
Yeah.
expecting anything. So once we started investigating, we kind of just started off by wandering around the building and seeing what areas we felt kind of drawn to go look into.
Yeah, and I would say that we first ventured off to the second floor, up to the upper right area. I'm not sure what that area would technically be. It was almost like a lounge area with a little attic. Um, so I would say that we probably ventured around there first, and we had all of our gear on us. And being new to investigations, I'm not sure what exactly it is that we used. I'm maybe you know, Sybil.
I didn't have anything other than a flashlight. You were
Yeah.
gifted, I believe it was a EMF reader.
Yeah, I was gifted an EMF reader from Western Paranormal Society, who's also really cool,
Very,
and
very nice. Yeah.
they were super friendly, and they went ahead and gifted us some EMF readers, and that was so I
Yes,
was holding on to that.
yeah, you use that to pick up any frequencies, magnetic frequencies, and that may be wrong, but I believe that's what it stands for. And then Danielle did have her own um, spirit box or polter pod, I believe,
Filter pod and I believe a REM pod.
and a REM pod, which we did end up using for a little bit of the investigation, and it was very interesting. Um, but we did start off by going to, I believe it was, if you're facing the stage, the left side, yeah, that corner lounge area, kind of dark
It was
corner
very
over
dark
there.
in there.
There's a few couches, and you can kind of stand out and overlook the stage and the ground floor if you wanted to. Um, I believe you and I just walked through there, And we kind of stopped immediately and didn't want to walk through
And
there
we
because we both got full body
both got
chills
chills. Yeah, whole
immediately.
body chills.
And then we kind of paused after I'm getting chills right now talking about it, but we
Yeah,
paused and
yeah.
that space felt
We
very
paused and looked at each other because I and announced that we were both getting full body chills at that point.
yeah. It's kind of I don't experience that unless I'm cold, but it was like kind of like top to
Yeah,
bottom immediately, kind of
it
covered
felt a
me.
little bit different than any sort of temperature change. It just felt like chills from top to bottom, like you said.
Yeah, and it definitely felt very dark. Like it just looked dark and heavy in there, and so I believe we both paused and said maybe we should look into another area first,
Yeah,
and left
yeah,
that area, which we did end up coming back to later on
yeah.
with Danielle. But yeah, we left that area and we
We ventured out back to the balcony and towards the other side of the balcony, towards the bar area.
I see Boo behind you. Hi,
Yeah,
Boo.
Boo's with me.
Yeah,
He's
so
keeping me company.
I know we did this later on, but I would like to talk about the ground floor first. I guess we can go from the ground up. You and I did go to this area later on, but I wanted to talk about the women's bathroom
Women's
downstairs.
restroom, yeah.
Um,
People were asking if we had any sort of paranormal experiences down there, and I would absolutely say yes, we did.
in
Um,
in the downstairs area, I would say for us, we did experience something in the mirror room and in the women's bathroom and in the back.
women's bathroom, yeah.
Um, we had only been in there to use the bathroom one time, which
Hmm.
the first time I walked in with people around, it did feel a little weird, but I just went in there
Hmm. Yeah,
quickly
it
and left.
definitely had an eerie feeling to it.
But this time, you and I decided to go just us with our little flashlight,
Hmm.
and we walked
Little
over
flashlight, little EMF reader.
to the women's restroom. And as soon as we entered the restroom, we both stood there to feel it out. We said, "Is it okay if we come in here?"
If we enter this space,
Which is
yeah.
what we asked before entering
What-
any area because it just felt
any
respectful.
area or any space, we just want to walk in respectfully and if we're even allowed in that space. So that's kind of how we approached it.
That is how we approached it after never even doing this, but that was our approach. We would
Yeah.
stop and ask, "Is it
Hmm.
okay if we enter this your space or this space?" and feel if it was or not. And so we did that. We first walked in and we both paused kind of close to the doorway. And in the middle of the bathroom, it kind of opens up like this, right? There's
Hmm.
the sinks, and then there's the stalls leading up towards the end.
The two stalls, yeah.
And we paused before this. I feel like there was a what is it? A pillar there, right before the
Yeah,
pillar.
those, yeah.
And we looked kind of beyond the middle where the stalls were. I would say it was like 2 or 3 stalls in, if you were to walk over there.
Yeah.
Um, and we both kind of, I'm getting chills again. We got chills. But we looked at each other and we said, "It feels very sad in here." We both
Yeah,
kind
we
of
just
felt
felt this overwhelming sadness, I would describe.
it.
It just felt very sad in there.
It did. It felt a
And
little
sadness
unsettled
was,
and it felt very sad.
yeah,
Um,
not scared, just a sort of eerie sadness.
and then we asked if it was okay if we entered the space, and we say it feels very sad.
And we
And
asked if anyone was here.
we did. We said, "Is anyone here?" And we kind of paused. And then, very, very faintly, again, we heard in a female voice, this time with a lower register, she said, "I am
Yeah,
here."
she said here. But it was very faint and it was almost quiet and very soft, but it was very like low
It was
register as
almost
if like
so
as
soft that we almost maybe couldn't hear it.
and it was almost as if like it was like hard for the for her to speak. It felt like, anyways. At least I feel. Uh,
I can get that. Like, or maybe it was so sad.
it was just it was just very sad. Yeah.
yeah. Like I would say it almost felt as if like if you were just exasperated. That's what it seemed
Yeah.
like an
It felt like
exasperation.
exaggerated. Yeah.
And then we asked, "Is it okay if we're here, or do you want us in this area?" And it kind of felt like maybe she didn't. Um,
Yeah. So I feel like we sensed that a little bit. Like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't really spend too much time in here. It feels, you know,
sad. It just felt very
we don't want
sad.
to we don't want to overstep our bounds, and also it felt very sad in there as well. So we're like, okay, we'll probably just go ahead and investigate or go on and continue the investigation elsewhere.
And it was another moment where we kind of confirmed with each other, like, yeah, we both heard that happened. It felt very casual, very kind of normal, which is kind of odd to say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then I remember saying, I'm sorry for what happened, even though
Hmm.
maybe showing some empathy to whatever may or may not
Yeah.
be there. And then we ended up turning around to head
We
out.
were just on our Yeah, we were just on our way to head out, and then one of the big groups starts to enter the bathroom. And as we're heading out, and as the group is heading into the bathroom, just to kind of, if they were going on their ghost tour, we hear the host of the ghost tour say, "Yes, and this is where um, a woman was found who had overdosed in the third right stall, kind of like right where we were at." So that was that I'm getting chills just speaking about that. But
It was
um,
the timing of
that
it was
that again,
strange. Yeah,
the timing was strange, and it I looked at towards you, Sybil, and it was kind of like confirming again, like, oh, so what we this is what we were feeling. This is something that we're confirming. So
an unbiased
yeah,
confirmation and validation with what we just really kind of felt and heard.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
felt.
um, yeah, we were yeah.
At that point, we were very tired, and we decided to take a break. But we can go ahead and talk about what we were experiencing on the upper floors.
After our experience in the downstairs women's bathroom, at that time it was later in the night. We did decide to take a break to cool down. But prior to that experience, we did explore the upstairs with Danielle from Vegas Afterlife, and
We did explore the bar a little bit, but we also mostly explored, um, but I would call the lounge area, and also another area that I would like for you to describe, Sybil.
I don't know if an awning is the right word. Um, it's kind of like a walkway towards a balcony by the bathrooms where you had your first paranormal experience. And like we
It's
were,
a little bit above.
yes, so it is on the second floor, and mentioning how there was that walkway behind the bathroom and the other living quarters as separate tiny bathrooms. On the other side of that, there was a stairwell, and one of the stairways went down to the right, and then on the left side it went up. We hadn't been in this area yet, so with Danielle we decided, hey, maybe we should explore this area because it's something we kind of felt drawn to, wanted to explore, but maybe we're a little bit apprehensive to
Yeah,
look into because it looked
yeah,
quite honestly like something out of a horror movie.
yeah. It was very
um,
creepy,
it was
very, very
creepy,
creepy.
very dark, very creepy.
But
So
even before that, we did. Danielle had the spirit box, and we did hear some things coming through, some voices. And as we approached the stairs, we asked a few questions, like, which way do you want us to go? Is it okay if we enter the space first of all? But um, and we did get a response.
we did, and the polter pod, a male voice coming up. We did ask, can we go in this area, and would you like us to go upstairs or downstairs? And in the response, we all heard together it say up. Um, it said up, and so we said okay.
It said,
It also said come up, come on up.
mhm.
So it did
Mm-hmm.
confirm it more than once, and it said right as we were turning right to first go
Mm-hmm.
up the steps, turn right, and then go up another stairwell into
Mm-hmm.
a room we hadn't been in before, or we didn't even know that this was there. So
Yeah.
that was actually kind of cool.
A very cool room.
Yeah,
Very cool room.
very cool room. Uh,
Probably one of my favorites.
Me too. I would like to describe it actually. So we were
Mm-hmm.
listening to the responses, kind of. I guess it was leading the way. This male voice, um, and we kind of asked like, "Oh, is this your living quarters?" And I can't quite recall if it confirmed that or not, but it felt like maybe we were being kind of led to this room in a way. Um, I'm not going to assume that we were, but we were just following the
It did
instructions.
feel that way.
It felt that way.
At the same time, it didn't. We didn't entirely. I feel like we didn't. It didn't entirely feel welcome. It didn't entirely feel unwelcome. It just kind of felt like, okay, we're being led to this space, and we're being allowed to investigate this space.
And so in this
And
space, when you first walk in, it's kind of a taller ceiling, and there was this kind of elaborate chandelier, old chandelier hanging. To the
which is
left,
so cool.
there was kind of a raised doorway, which you couldn't have access to, that led to another set of stairs, a stairwell. It's kind of strange because it looked, why is there this floating door over here? But and in
Yeah.
front of us, there was a poster. I believe it was like an old kind of I don't know if it was a television set or some kind of stereo, like some just old equipment in front of
Mm-hmm.
us, some couches, um, and then there
Sure.
there was a room to the right in the back where I believe led to this circular window on the side of the Saltair and the front of the Saltair, and there was just stacked chairs, seating kind of like in the back rooms, which we all mentioned. Like this looks like back rooms, um,
Mm-hmm.
and the window, which was very cool, circular window showing this exposed tree branch outside, and so
Yeah.
it had a very cool setting in there, creepy but
Very
very cool.
haunting.
So yeah, um, we were exploring that area. I think we were interacting with a male voice through the polter pod, um, kind of
Hmm.
talking about that space.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting. Nothing too.
Nothing too e- extreme happened there. There was interactions, and I guess I would say some activity, but it was nothing like too extreme. It was just more like we were exploring.
It was just kind of fun to explore. We actually didn't stay in this area very long. Um,
Yeah,
I kind
I
of
would say we
wish
probably
to.
headed back to the lounge after that.
I kind of wanted to go back in this area, but
Yeah,
I
we wanted
just
to go
kind of
back to
felt
investigate
like
later.
at the moment we didn't stay too long. We didn't feel like we should have stayed or overstayed that in that space, and so we headed
Yeah, we didn't want to stay in that
back.
area. That's at least what it felt like.
Yeah, so we kind of headed back down another stairwell,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
to explore the lounge that we had mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And the lounge was on the same side of the balcony of this room, this upper room stairway, and so we kind of headed towards that direction. Um, I had mentioned that we went in there earlier, and that it felt very heavy and different in that area.
But
So
there is an experience that even on our second day, if you would like to describe, you had entered that lounge area before,
oh
and
right,
even then
I had
you said
forgotten.
you had some sort of feeling or like semblance in that area,
I
which I
did
think kind of coincided with what we experienced later.
I did I forgot about this, but I did go into that area for a minute, and I felt like there was like a big shadow It felt very heavy. I felt like I shouldn't really be in there that long. And then I did hear something very mild. It sounded to me like a little cat meow or like a little faint giggle, like a
Mhm.
like you'd mentioned, a young girl giggling, but I kind of heard it very faintly. Um, I didn't want to
Yep.
stay in there that long, and that was just, I think, maybe the first or second day. I was just walking around, kind of looking around. This wasn't even like a minute in there, and yeah,
That was during the day.
that was during the day. I kind of just wanted to
Hmm.
look at the stage from that area, and I experienced that very briefly, but then I didn't think too much of it. Like maybe I just, who knows, it could have been anything. And so then I just
Yeah, I
walked.
will say that on the second day, after we had gotten back from the bathroom, and we went downstairs and I was vending. I was sitting downstairs and I did happen to see a shadow figure walk across the balcony where um, that area was. So,
That's right.
uh,
I remember you mentioning that now.
Mhm.
So, yeah, with Danielle from Vegas Afterlife, we decided, hey, let's go check out this area. You know, nobody's over here at the moment. Everyone was in their groups, I believe downstairs. They kind of stayed in certain rooms in certain areas for a little while. And so we kind of just decided to feel it out. Um, and we went in that room. There was chairs in the room. I think there was about 3 or 4 chairs. So we grabbed three
Yeah,
three
we grabbed a
chairs
few chairs.
after kind of walking around the room really quick, and that was weird. There was like
We decided to sit down and try out the REM pod.
yeah, we had
Uh,
the REM pod, and I will mention when you first walk into that room, there's like a little kitchenette area, and then there's like a storage back room, and then it kind of goes around where there's 3 sofas seating. And we did walk through that area first, and as we passed the
mhm.
doorway in the back, we immediately, you and I, felt full body chills pretty
Body chills.
intensely,
Yeah,
and kind of it stopped
yeah,
us in our tracks before we even sat down
yeah,
together. Um,
yeah.
so we decided maybe to put the REM pod on the couch next to us, kind of closer to that doorway. Um, it just kind of seemed like a good spot. And we sat, the 3 of us, kind of facing each other in a circle, um,
Hmm.
and just decided to see, like, what
What
we
comes through
felt and what happened.
or yeah,
I will say her
if
assistant
anything would
was
interact.
filming this. He was in front of us,
Hmm.
or me, behind you guys, standing on kind of an
Hmm.
elevated seating area, and he was filming
Hmm.
towards us. Um,
Hmm.
and so I don't want to speak for you or for Danielle, but I immediately felt full body chills over and over while sitting there, and it
Yeah,
felt very heavy,
heavy.
like so. It felt so heavy that I felt like,
That our legs felt like I feel like my legs felt like lead. Like I couldn't move my legs at all.
yes, I felt like I tried to lift my legs, and I was like, my feet and legs feel very heavy. I was thinking that. And then I remember you saying, my feet and legs feel really heavy. My legs, I can't lift
Hmm.
up my legs. I was kind of in awe with that, um, you saying that, because I was feeling exactly the same. I just didn't say it
Hmm.
out loud. But yeah, it
And at the
felt,
same time, I had noticed even with this feeling of or my legs feeling heavy, I noticed this that the room it was already dark in there, but it felt like it was getting increasingly more dark or like it was harder to see. And I uh, even with the light in there, it just seemed like there was just overcast with this with just a lot of darkness.
I will agree. I wasn't seeing what you were seeing because you guys were facing different directions, but speaking from my
Hmm.
experience, I could feel behind me in that corner by the doorway almost as
Hmm.
if something was behind me standing, and I could kind of see out of the corner of my eye like an overcast of darkness in the dark, which
Hmm.
is very strange. I've
Like
never,
darkness flooding in. Yeah,
like someone was dimming the lights
the lights
down
in the dark.
in the dark. And then you guys said,
Yeah.
you and Danielle had mentioned that, and
Hmm.
I I just didn't even want to look in that general direction because I could
I
see
was
it.
diagonal from the door. I feel like I probably saw the most of it, but like coming in because it was my chair was facing the wall, or I was facing Danielle, but I was diagonal right from the door, and in my right corner of my vision, that's where I saw the that dark kind of flood in, really.
It kind of seemed like like if a fog comes in, over a
Yeah,
town, it had that kind of
yeah.
effect. Um,
But it was like pitch black.
yeah, I'm not gonna say that's what like it was like that, but it had that effect, and I could see it.
Yeah.
Um, I could see it happening, and once again, you both saying that after the fact kind of confirmed that okay, it's not just me
Yeah.
experiencing
And at
that
that point, I would like to mention that the REM pod also did go off um,
a lot.
quite a few times. Yeah.
We started to ask questions and test the REM pod essentially and say, okay, if this is here, make this light go off twice. And every time we asked for a response, it immediately gave us that
It wouldn't
response,
respond.
which was very strange.
Signal. Yeah.
I don't really know exactly how those work. I'm always kind of skeptical, like, oh,
Either.
it's
Maybe
it's
someone's watching
equipment,
it.
I don't know.
Yeah. It could be
Um,
faulty.
who knows? But I will say
Yeah.
it was reacting exactly to the, the
In response to
response.
our
Yeah.
questions.
Even so, where it was like, oh, okay, change the colors instead of using the green color, do these colors. It did that as well.
And then it would do that. Yeah.
So if there was something reacting to this light, the REM pod,
It was definitely responsive,
it
I would say.
it felt that way.
It felt like. Yeah.
But when things kind of started to get a little uncomfortable, um, we kind of all felt like something was standing behind us. I just had that sensation, and um, I remember I stood up and kind of faced towards that direction, and I heard in the air. It sounded like it was in the air, like a hissing sound, kind of go around us,
Going around. Yeah.
which was very strange. And I did remember earlier someone mentioned there was a snake outside of the Saltair. So my first thought was,
Yeah.
is there a snake in this room?
Is there a snake in here on the second floor?
uh, I mean, you never know. Could have been an animal. But what was strange is that it sounded like it
Felt
wasn't
like it was in the air.
in the air. Yeah, like someone took
Yeah.
a whistle, but it was like a hiss kind of that circled around.
That circled around us. Yeah.
I'm not really
I
sure.
mostly felt it in my left ear, but
And I remember hearing that and looking at you and saying there was a hiss. And you said, yeah,
yeah.
I just heard a hiss too. Like I heard that.
Yes.
Um, and so after that, uh, I felt like I was ready to kind of get out of that
Yeah,
area.
I felt like I was also ready to head out of that area.
Just
That was
because,
enough for me.
yeah, like I said, we kind of went into that wanting to be respectful of the space, whatever, just all
And
of that.
also, we didn't want anything intruding in our space as well.
Exactly. And it kind of felt like the space there, we didn't want to stay much longer, so we decided, okay, let's go ahead and
Yeah.
get out of this space and
Head out. Yeah.
continue exploring other areas of the
Going
building.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I will say I don't want to speak for you, but for me that was I've never really experienced something quite like that. Um, I don't really love that experience.
No,
uh,
I don't either.
I was kind of still been thinking about that. All of it really, but
Yeah.
that was
If
definitely.
anything gets, it was a little too aggressive for me. Um, I'm I was okay with exploring the space and kind of seeing what goes on, but as soon as something feels hostile like that, that was kind of to the point where I was just like, I'm good exploring this space and I'm ready to continue exploring somewhere else.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think about it because I never experienced anything like that. Um,
Yeah,
I'm still on the fence, like, you know, not to discredit my experience, but did, what was that? I don't know.
yeah,
But I will say, let's think of it as if I were interacting with a
kind of
person and a
suspending
person
belief.
was rude to me, would I want to keep
Yeah,
interacting with them? No. So I
right,
decided
right.
this is a space I don't want to be in anymore, and we left.
Yeah, and same.
But wow, it was definitely a very unique experience, very unexpected. Um, and then after that, I believe that's when we did go back downstairs.
Hmm. And then that's when we experienced the women's bathroom experience that we had talked about. So,
Yes,
and then after that, we decided to go ahead and take a break.
we did.
And from there on, after we had taken a break, what would you say that we, uh, why don't you walk us through like what we experienced or if you experienced anything at all? Because I know that I can't really say I experienced too much after that.
Um, so we decided to take a break, kind of recenter ourselves, cool down, really.
Yeah.
It was getting late. We had a long weekend, so we were tired. But once we talked to our friend David and his wife, um,
Hmm.
we decided to cool down in one of the rooms and
Hmm.
kind of regroup. Um, so to reiterate, we took a break. We took time to cool down, and this was towards the end of the night. You were mentioning that um, nothing major really happened, but we did take a moment and we decided to try one new piece of equipment that we both had never tried before, really even heard of. Um,
Hmm.
and this equipment was a music box with a sensor in front of the music box. And supposedly, if there were something to walk in front of the sensor, it would trigger to play the music box. So, if you want to
Hmm.
add to that.
Yeah, so after we just took a break for a moment, just to cool down and kind of gather our and ground ourselves after some of the experiences that we had because we noticed that we were feeling a little drained afterwards. So we went ahead and cooled off and grounded ourselves and changed out our equipment and then decided to go ahead and investigate after. Um, we first started investigating again on the bottom floor. We decided to venture towards the stage area because we realized that we hadn't really explored there. So, if you want to take it from there, we went ahead and went up to the stage.
We did. We took a moment and we talked to our friend Jay, and he had mentioned that he kind of had luck towards the stage. Um,
Mhm.
and so we're like, sure, it's towards the end of the night. Maybe we'll try this new piece of equipment that we've never tried on the stage, or just kind of walk up there for fun, honestly. So first we kind of walked on the stage. I did set the music box in one spot, and nothing was really happening. Um, so we kind of just sat up there for a minute, and then I turned to Nico and I said, I have a feeling maybe we should try it in front of the stage. And kind of walking around the stage for a minute, we walked off the stage, and I decided to set the music box. If you were facing the stage, it would have been on the right side of the stage, kind of closer to the stairway um, to enter the stage. And I set it kind of directly in front, with the sensor facing out into where the audience would stand. And we do have a video of this, but the music box just
Yes.
kept playing It didn't stop.
Yeah, I didn't play nonstop.
Um,
Whereas on the stage, there was nothing there.
yeah,
Nothing. It wasn't playing. It wasn't going off. But then we changed the location to the front of the stage, and that's where we noticed there was. It was just playing constantly.
it did. It didn't. It did not stop, and it was kind of funny because it's kind of like it was putting on a show.
Like you pick all this. Sybil seems to know all the spots where the ghosts are, or where there seems to be activity. At least I was kind of like teasing at that. So,
Yeah, you
uh,
you kept
where
hinting
whereas
that. Hmm.
yeah,
Um,
I picked the top of the stage and nothing there really. So
and the skeptic, I guess, side of me was thinking,
yeah,
we've never used this before. We don't know how it works. Maybe it's the
and we wanted to go ahead and
vibrations of.
double check and see if there was something around the area that could have possibly been triggering it. Um,
Yeah, my first assumption
and
was maybe there's something in front that's. There was a couple of chairs kind of in the distance in front of it, and so I was like, maybe something in front is kind of triggering the chairs, and so we moved them out of the way, um, to see like.
or to see if there was a fan blowing that could have possibly been triggering it in some way. There was a fan next to it, but we noticed that the fan was turned off. Um,
Yeah, it was off. Um, I just was trying to think like what would trigger this device and what can we eliminate so it doesn't go off. But
Even if there was any electrical equipment nearby, we didn't really. We noticed that there was like cords, but I just it was within the vicinity of the music box. Again, we kind of went to see if there was anything around it, if anything could possibly be in front of it. So you went ahead and stood in the area we kind of suspected could possibly be setting the device off.
I did, and this whole time it was going off the entire time. It didn't stop, and we were kind of laughing like, "Oh, is this a musical show for
Yeah,
those
in front of the
in
stage.
front of the stage?" Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. My first thought was maybe the ground is moving, or kind of. That sounds silly now that I say it out loud, but maybe there was shaking the ground or something that was causing it to
Maybe,
go off. But
or if anybody was hearing or if anything like that.
yeah, I don't know, but I can say that it just kept playing. So
Mhm.
we recorded it, and I feel like that was probably the last major thing that we had experienced that night. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
major or if any.
it was definitely an experience.
Yeah,
One of the things that we experienced throughout the night. After that, I would say that we hadn't really experienced too much after that.
we didn't, and everyone started to kind of wrap up their own investigations. The groups kind of started coming back out to the main floor, and I believe not soon after that they turned on the lights again
All the
to
lights, yeah,
do some last pictures with everybody, and
hmm
say goodbyes and kind of
and
finish
just
up the
kind of
night.
confirm the end of the investigation,
Mm-hmm.
um, or the closing of the investigation. And that would I would say it was around 12:30 or so,
It was around 12:30,
and then
and officially ended at 1 a.m.
yes,
And
where we got to have pictures and kind of regroup and uh, talk about our experiences.
I believe you and I took a walk outside, and I got a video, although it was too dark, but a video of you standing in front of the Saltair just as a
Mhm.
commemorative
Homage.
moment for us and your first investigation and everything.
And just
Um,
like and what a cool experience it was to be able to investigate together, and
yeah,
especially for my first investigation that was just really like a novel experience and a lot of fun.
definitely. I went into that not expecting anything, and we kind
Yeah,
of came
I
out with unique
with
experiences.
a new perspective.
Whether or not I will say now, can I confirm a lot of those things? I mean, I can with myself and with
I don't
you.
know.
Yeah. Can
Yeah,
I say I know what that is? I have no clue. All I know is I can speak from what I had
Experience.
experienced, unbiased, and what you had experienced, and it's pretty cool that we can say that we had that
Amazing.
experience together. And so I think out of
Yeah,
all
I
of
think
it,
that's probably the most amazing.
I think that's the best part. Yeah.
Yeah, the best part of all. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I just wanted to once again thank everyone
Yeah,
who hosted the event.
thank everyone who went there and showed up and offered the support. Thank you for everyone who supported our vending tables and who talked to us and you know um, just shared their stories and experiences and made connections and yeah, thank you for the music, Jay, for Colors of Mind, and thank you for the panels, Aaron and Jay, and yeah, thank you to Vegas Afterlife. Thank you for new friends. Thank you, David, for hosting the event again. Um,
Yeah, we look
all the
forward
sponsors. It
to
was really cool.
the next events that may come up and what,
Yeah,
I hope it only grows from there. And
same.
for all the success and enjoyment of everyone who also attends. Um, I
Yeah,
just wanted to personally, as the artist Sybil Grey and Alex, my name again is Alex, thank you. I wanted to personally thank you for those of you who did stop by, who did purchase any art, or just communicate or talk to me, or just share a little bit of your life and self with me. It means a lot, more than I can say.
yeah.
And
I really feel like we made a lot of new friends this time around, and I can't say I've ever really experienced anything like it, and it was just really an amazing experience.
yeah, so
So,
thank you so much. Maybe we'll
thank
have
you for
more
listening to our
to
yeah
investigations,
to
more
investigations.
ghostly to
We'll call it that.
investigations, and
Our stories and ghost stories, and we hope to share more of these. This is the very first of our stories, but um, yeah, just thank you for listening, and
thank you. Yeah, if you've made it
this was
this
really
far,
fun to share.
thank
Yeah,
you. This is something we've both once again never done before. Uh,
yeah, but we just felt it was important to share, and
just fun
it was
times.
yeah, honestly, just a lot of fun.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah,
wrap it up there. If you watched this video or enjoyed it, let us know, and
yeah.
maybe in the
Let us
future
know.
we'll do more things
Make
like
some
this.
more.
Yeah.
Do more investigations. We'll
Stay
see.
safe, everyone. Take care. And if you have
Stay
any
safe. Take care.
experiences yourself, we'd love to hear
Yeah,
about
please
it.
feel free to share. We would
Especially
love to
if you
hear.
were there. If you were there too.
Yeah,
So,
yes. Please share your experiences.
definitely. All right, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.